Hello everyone. I'm going to try something very different today. As you can see, I'm sitting at the piano. I'm not sitting right next to my shrine as I usually am for these talks. And that's because today I want to try not just communicating through words, but also through music as well. So the plan is I'm going to say a few words and then I'm going to say it with music, perhaps. So the music that I want to play is something that I wrote some years ago when refugees were very much in the news, and I was very conscious of the situation of refugees, both in meditation and just in my life. I was just thinking of all these displaced people that were moving around different parts of the world, being displaced by, for various reasons, due to war, due to political unrest or repression, or due to poverty or wanting to make themselves a better life. So that was very much in my mind when I wrote this music, and so I called it Displaced. Then, 2 years ago, in 2018, my mum died, and I decided I wanted to play this music at her funeral. But I needed to make some changes to it, so I revised the ending, I rewrote the ending, and then I played it at her funeral 2 years ago. And I'm thinking now about the current situation with the coronavirus. And in a way, we're still being displaced, but differently, I suppose. Many of us are at home, but we want to be somewhere else. We want to be able to go out. We want to be able to go out to work, to see friends. So we're kind of displaced at home. And other people, the ones who have had the misfortune to catch the virus, are perhaps in hospitals, so they also have been displaced. You could even say about those many hundreds or thousands who've died so far, they also have been displaced from their life. And there's a great deal of sadness about all of this, about the number of deaths and also fear of the illness. So what I feel this music communicates, I hope, is that it allows for the sadness. There's a sense of sadness, maybe of grief even, or loss. But also there's an underlying positivity, I think, maybe a sense of consolation, or maybe even compassion. And I was thinking about compassion in a Buddhist context, because, perhaps compassion in any context really, but in Buddhism, compassion is one of the four sublime abodes, or the four immeasurables, which are very, very positive states of mind. So compassion doesn't consist in taking on the grief or suffering of another person to the extent that we experience that same grief and suffering. If we did that, then we would just be increasing the suffering in the world by experiencing it ourselves. So, of course, we empathise with their suffering, but I think the main point of compassion is that it's a positive emotion because it expresses the heart's desire for the alleviation of the suffering of beings. So let's just see what this music can do, can express in those ways.